What if Mega Lopunny was in Gen 1 Ubers? Now, I've done Mega Lopunny before in OU, and the big TLDR, to no one's surprise, this thing is way too good for the tier. You have a normal fighting type with an actual stab move and high jump kick, and it's this fast? Yeah, no, that's insane. With attack and speed this great, the crit rate's insane. With an 85 stab fighting move, all three of the normals are terrified. Then with normal stab, all of the psychics are terrified of Hyper Beam. And then strength. And along with all of that, it has Thunder Wave. So even though Gengar completely walls it, Gengar hates paralysis. Even in a worst case scenario, it can just easily deal with that. So logically, it only makes sense to try to put this in Ubers. And even in Ubers, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. This thing is amazing. But are you really surprised? It's faster than Mewtwo. So that alone gives it a fighting chance, pun intended. But like, 136 attack? Hyper Beam? Yeah, that's pretty good. Unfortunately though, I don't think it ever earns Body Slam. And this is in Nat Dex, so Strength is your best option, I'm pretty sure. You can technically maybe go for... Oh, no Double Edge either. Yeah, no, you're just limited to Strength. Yeah, there's probably something else I'm maybe, like, missing. Unless it has, like, Slash, but I don't think it does. It does not. But it doesn't matter too much. Strength is, 80 base power. So it's not too much weaker than Body Slam. Would you prefer Body Slam? Obviously. Would you prefer Double Edge? Probably not. It's more power. And normally for my videos, if there's a normal type that has access to, Thunder Wave, which Lopunny has, and Double Edge, not always, but sometimes I do try to vouch for using Double Edge instead, since it's more like aggressive and more like always getting high rolls with Body Slam. But I think in Mega Lopunny's case, you die way too quickly, because this thing is getting crits. It's hitting super hard with some of the highest attack in the entire game. It's gonna do a lot of damage, and that recall is just not worth it. Strength is just a little bit weaker than Body Slam, and it's already perfect. Especially since, for the most part, Hyper Beam is already doing like 60% to most Pokemon. And with how fast this thing crits, and like for example, I think just Jolteon and Mewtwo, I think that's already like a 25% crit rate, so like, I think Lopunny is like, I forget what the calculations are exactly, but it's like already more than straight up a 1 in 4. It's more than that, so like, it's not too bad to rely on, so yeah, that's pretty scary. Now, not everything is perfect for Lopunny. Since the tier is already built around two, fast physical psychic types, not only are they more than qualified to take out Lopunny if they have the chance, but since the tier is morphed around that, having such a dominant matchup against the normals isn't really the worst thing in the world anymore. Chansey in general is already falling off, and while Tauros and Starlock's are incredibly good, the third best Pokemon in Ubers is actually Exeggutor. It has Psychic and it's physically tanky, but Lopunny has the ability to, use a critical Hyper Beam to one-shot, I'm pretty sure. But do you risk that? It's very dangerous to do so. Along with that, Zapdos is pretty good. And again, normal stab, you can hurt Zapdos a lot, but agility is pretty free a lot of the time. If it has agility already up, or if it manages to get agility, that can work pretty well. And in general, you have a lot of... There's actually more flying types than there normally are. Like, I think technically things like Aerodactyl are on the viability ranking, but other Pokemon like Dodrio are on some of the lowest ends of the viability rankings. Pokemon like Dodrio, I think, become a lot better with Lopunny in the format, because this is a normal fighting type which can suffer from those weaknesses. Now, theoretically, maybe use like Submission Machamp, but that sounds really bad. they'll take advantage of that normal weakness. But Psychic and Flying types, you could definitely accomplish. You can have, fast Psychic types use, well, Psychic and probably Thunder Wave. Lopunny doesn't like that. And for all of the good Drill Pick users in Zapdos and Dodrio, like I've stated previously, they have agility. They have the ability to become faster than Lopunny. And even though it's really fast, it's technically slower than Electrode. I didn't make a replay with Electrode because it's only just going to use Thunder Wave, but see, that's something you can do. And of course, Gengar completely and utterly wallowing Lopunny is very good. It's like one of the few things that holds the tier together. And that's a maybe because even though there's a lot of things that can like deal with Lopunny, I also feel like how Uber's changing, it kind of like it more so works in Lopunny's favor. For example, you have like some passive Mewtwo sets that use like Barrier, and those on paper should be really bad against Lopunny to deal with. But also with your crit rate, sometimes like the Barrier doesn't really work. So I'm not sure if it's worth using that. But what is a much bigger deal is just how much more popular Thunder Wave is on Mewtwo and Mew, along with Mewtwo's loving to use self-destruct more often. Mewtwo and Mew can very, very easily make, opportunities for Mega Lopunny to revenge kill. If Mewtwo goes for self-destruct on the enemy Mewtwo, and it's paralyzed, you take on Mega Lopunny, you are very obviously not winning that exchange at all. And because of that, there's also things like Sword Stance on Mew or Psychic on Mew, which, if both are paralyzed, Sword Stance can help you win. Stop Roll maybe, and Psychic definitely helps, but, Mew can't do everything on its own, too. There's other Mews to deal with, or, Mewtwo's, or even Tauros. Like, Tauros and Lopunny working together, that's pretty scary. Mewtwo and Mew can have Psychic for, special drops, or just dealing with Gengar. So, it's honestly looking like Mega Lopunny. I might be giving it too much credit, but, I just feel like with the direction Uber's is going, I feel like with so many Mewtwo's now getting paralyzed more consistently, with other Mewtwo's setting up revenge kills, even with just Tauros, let alone this monster, I don't know for sure if Mega Lopunny would be anything goes, but I think people will be able to argue for it, because it really is just not the type of Pokemon you'd want in an RBY environment. It's way too fast and abuses the mechanics way too much. And while it's not very tanky with that HP stat and its weaknesses, at the same time, it's just way too easy to revenge kill with this. But let's just get on to the replays. Before I do, though, I'd like to say that this video was a late video. This is the October Patreon request from Patreon supporter Plausible. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. As always, these videos are free, but if you want to have guaranteed videos, as well as have extra replays, have, Pokemon named after you, or, choose what music you want to hear in these videos, support the Patreon. I appreciate it. But for now, let's get on to the king himself, and that's Mewtwo. And 1v1 replays like this, it definitely helps that Lopunny is, just faster. But also, at the same time, that's way, way worse and significantly way more in Mewtwo's favor. Because if it's Psychic, yeah. Lopunny is probably just gonna, die. But I decided to go over, multiple Mewtwo sets. So right here, we have one that has Thunder Wave. Obviously, I should have to explain this, but Lopunny just despises Thunder Wave in all ways, shapes, and forms. And even just a Strength, you're already, doing half health. But like I said, even though you prefer Body Slam, it's not like it's mandatory or anything. You can do fine without it. And Barrier Mewtwo would do well. But also, anytime Lopunny can crit. And if they're both paralyzed, it's, probably gonna be in Lopunny's favor. Normally I have, what's it called? Amnesia. But for this one, I had Thunder Wave instead. Also, Mewtwo has, that good crit rate. So, it might just not matter. But, yeah. Yeah, that's how much a critical Hyper Beam does. Suddenly I have a very bad feeling about this. Funny enough, Mew might inherently better. That's just because, it's just literally physically bulkier. I don't think it's by a lot. I think what Mewtwo's base HP stat is I know Mew's defense is higher, but I don't know about his HP. Someone can remind me in the comments if I don't just look it up myself after this is done. But, yeah, Mewtwo, and Mew. I would say in general, these are probably bad matchups, but, like, I think in practice, everything other than, like, the ghost types exactly could go either ways. And even with Gengar, theoretically, if you really wanted to, you can put, like, Thunderbolt or Wizard on it, even though it just would not hit hard whatsoever. And there's Executor. Yeah, that didn't really go too well for it. But on the bright side of this, like, literally any chip damage on the Lopunny, you can probably handle that pretty. And then Tauros. Yeah, you do a lot of damage. And, like, maybe, like, Fire Blast Tech can be something, but, like, it really doesn't matter. At that point, it's too late. You're probably just better off just trying to go and crit a Hyper Beam. Hopes that's more accurate, too. And even a Pokemon that's tanky as Snorlax just gets 2 KO'd. So if that Lopunny crit, you better believe that Snorlax was done for. This probably goes without saying, but Lopunny is definitely the 3rd best Pokemon in the format. But I don't think it would be better than Mew and Mewtwo. I still think Mew and Mewtwo are versatile enough to where, you know, it would be used more. And it helps that more often now, both will probably be using coverage to, you know, deal with Mega Lopunny. But it's not like putting Psychic on your Pokemon's like particularly tough or anything. That's like a very easy thing to do that a lot of them are doing already. And it's also not like putting Zapdos on your team is going to be necessarily hard either. Zapdos is great in Ubers. And that might look like a weird play. I just want to see how much Hyper Beam did. So like high 60%, maybe 70 in a high roll. Like I didn't actually do the calcs. I never do the calcs for these. But like, yeah. That did a lot of damage. So you might just want to gamble a crit Hyper Beam. You probably don't need to though. But here's Rhydon. And it's like it's not tanking it. I guess it's technically tanking it better than Snorlax, but yeah, that was pretty rough. But you're not surprised, are you? And Slowbro, here's like the first thing that might actually stand up to it, because you resist high jump kick and have high defense. But both of you having paralysis is actually pretty annoying for Slowbro. And of course, a critical Hyper Beam can just delete your HP. Nope. High defense, not enough. Mega Lopunny once again wins. And then Starmie. Surely Starmie has to have a good matchup here, right? It's already pretty deep and physically bulky. But no. Strength already does good ship. Not even Hyper Beam. If this was Mega Starmie, it would definitely do significantly better since you're physically here. But you'll have to wait for that. I've already done videos on Mega Dragonite and Mega Victreebel. If you're interested in those, like, you know, go check them out. They're on my channel. I also recently did a death file prediction for the Ash vs. Yugi that's going to be coming out soon. And that's my most popular video of all time, so be sure to watch that as well if you want to see what all the hype is about. But for now, let's keep moving. And now we're on to some of the more jank things. In general, I actually like to add new replays of non-like OU or Uber's Pokemon for, what's it called? Like Patreon videos. So I went in over 4 that I think would be interesting to have a chance to some. Ultras here, it's not like, I don't know how often you'll take advantage of it, but that flying type does mean you can resist high jump kick. So if they have like Tauros or something, you can maybe get a switch in. And then Agility being faster, and then Fire Blast potentially getting a burn or getting a crit. Those are ways you can maybe deal with Lopunny. And then you have Alakazam, which, okay, you don't get the kill, but that's fine. You just, yeah, which just, and run was done. And next off, we have good old Aerodactyl. In Aerodactyl, I had hopes for it. I thought that maybe it can, like, with Reflect and Agility, actually put up a bit of a fight here. But no, I think High Jump Kick, it's too hard. Like, even with Reflect, I think it's, like, doing a 4th. Which means that Lopunny can just fish for crits for days. It's just not good. Aerodactyl is not doing much here. And even with Rest, Lopunny can just fish for crits. It's still a crit go either way, because with a crit, like wing attack is doing like half health Lopunny. So it can be annoying, but yeah, no, it just wasn't what I was hoping for, and I'm disappointed by that. Last but not least, we got Dodrio. Now, with agility, you could be faster than it, which I definitely think helps a lot. Helps that Drill Peck can also kill it as well. And look at that! That might be a damage range, and crits might mess you up, but hey, high jump kick, at least from what I'm seeing here, is a potential 3-hit KO. Good on Dodrio. But yeah, here's the tier list. And yeah, that is a lot of things in great matchups. This is... Whew, this is a rough one. A rough one where... I think this is one I have to see, like, in my own tournament. Because if you don't know, I like to host formats and tournaments based on my own what-if scenarios. It's called Generation Jumble. I think I'll need to see Mega Lopunny in a Jumble before deciding if it's Ubers or anything goes. Because it's potentially possible to, you know, have the meta revolve around it. Have less normal types and replace that with, like, you know, or there's not too many physical Pokemon left. Like, I look down here. Yeah, not too much I can really deal with it. But at the very least, probably not a lot that can do with normal stab. But you can maybe find opportunities if you take advantage of its fighting stab. So in that case, maybe normal types would be more common. But it's hard to say. What do you think? Do you think Mega Lopunny would be okay in Ubers? Or do you think it could ban anything goes? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, Brown back. Back forward here.